gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times.
On the fence. I'm on the fence.
We don't need to talk about
we left hook from Yaoundé came and landed on him, you know, so.
Here we are. Welcome back, everyone. This is the King's Court MMA. We're back in episode 3 of King's Court MMA Meets. We normally speak to the fighters, but we have a different aspect and a different take today. We are joined by the brilliant Gustavo Firmino. Gus, how are you doing? Bom dia.
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
Oh, very well, very well. I appreciate you taking the time. I know, again, as you said, you're a very busy man. You're a director of talent and business development of Blockasset. You know, you're the MD and the founder of Thrive MMA. You also have a brown belt in jiu-jitsu.
That's correct. Yeah, busy life, but at the same time, something that is interesting is that I have very flexible hours as well, as working as a digital nomad, as they like to call here, at least in Bali. So I can still find my time for training, to have this. Obviously, I saw your coverage in the last PFL event, on the first ever PFL European event. So yeah, it's a pleasure talking to you, and really admire the work you are doing.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. You're too nice. But yeah, so you're calling from Bali, Indonesia at the moment in time. You there permanently, or?
I would say for now, yes. I came here in, I believe it was August last year, and I spent one month in Bali. It's beautiful here. It's as they call the island of gods. I'm really enjoying Bali. But I also traveled to Phuket. I spent 2 months in Phuket just to see how is life there as well. I really enjoyed Phuket. Obviously, so many high-level MMA fighters there. You can understand, and so many high-level gyms. It's incredible, like the amount of training you can get there. But I just felt like Bali feels more like home, so I decided to come back.
Oh, brilliant. Well, yeah, as you said, you're definitely at the right side of the world for talent. But again, we can start at so many different places. But where did your love for MMA come from? Obviously, you're very in the MMA world. So where did that start?
So I'm Brazilian. So I think that also plays a factor in Brazil. MMA in Brazil is like, I think is considered the second biggest sport. So just after football or soccer. So everybody knows MMA. Yeah, football. That's the right name. So, everybody knows MMA. Everybody knows who Anderson Silva, Jose Aldo is. And so MMA is just as mainstream as it can get in Brazil. I think I would say that my passion for combat sports started when I was very young. I don't know which age, maybe 4, 5 years old, when my father, every weekend, we would spend watching movies like Bruce Lee, this kind of movie.
Yes.
So I think he just, he didn't practice any martial arts. He didn't practice sports, actually. But he loved to watch that with me when I was young. So I think... and then obviously after that, I got interested. I trained judo when I was very young. I don't know, 8 years old, 9. So I trained judo. I trained karate. But then my passion or my obsession switched to music, because they put me in a music school. I was studying piano and organ, and then I got obsessed with that. And then at some point, when I was 15, I liked rock, so I had cover bands of Metallica, Iron Maiden, Pink Floyd, all kinds of different rock styles. And that was until I was probably 18 to 20 years old. I was super involved with music.
Okay.
And then at some point, when I moved to São Paulo, I started training jiu-jitsu. So I had some, I've been obviously watching UFC and training martial arts since I was very young.
Wow, fair play. And Sao Paulo, what a place. I've been to Sao Paulo before. So when the World Cup was in Brazil 2014, I went to see England versus Uruguay. Sao Paulo. The score didn't go as we wanted it, but I got to see Sao Paulo, and for me it's a beautiful place. It's a city. It's a city of cities. That's what I call it. But
It's a big city, yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
big city, but I
How,
like
how
it.
did that go? I don't remember that game. How did that go?
So it was Uruguay went 1-0 up, and it was weird because we were sat. It was mixed crowd, so we were sat with the Uruguayan fans. So they went 1-0
Okay.
up, and then England equalised, and me and three friends, oh yeah, shouting, jumping up, and then Luis Suarez scored 2-1 to make it 2-1, and all the Uruguayan threw their drinks everywhere, all over me. But hey, it was a good experience.
Okay, cool, man. Nice that you had fun.
Indeed, indeed. So we'll fast forward now. That's for your love of MMA. We'll fast forward to now. So Blockasset, again, there's a lot of things going on in the digital age, and I believe obviously MMA with the digital age is trying to bring things together. But could you just give us an insight as to what actually Blockasset does and what your role as talent director and business development director is?
Sure. Yeah, so actually, interesting to start even right before Blockasset, I used to work for Brave Combat Federation. It's a very well-known MMA organization, has hosted events all around the world. I think they are on the 70th edition now. And yeah, hosted events in more than 20 countries. So I worked for Brave for a long time on the business development, event organization, operations side. Then I worked as a matchmaker on the last 2 or 3 years of my journey with Brave. But then at some point, I believe it was during the pandemic when I supposedly I got sick, and then I was stuck in my apartment. And then I was not into crypto. I was not into NFTs at that point. Maybe I had some investments in crypto, but not really into Web3 communities and understand NFTs. So at that time, because I was stuck at home, I said, you know what, I want to learn this new thing, right? And then I spent a lot of time understanding what NFTs were, the communities, and all the different projects and utilities. And then I came across Blockasset, and they were at that time doing the campaign for the Smash Bros. So it was Hamza Chimaev and Darren Till as they were training together in Sweden ahead of Hamzat's fight against Gilbert Burns. And that called my attention, like such a strong community, the content creation, cinematographic level. It's incredible how and I'm talking in a very neutral way. As a fan, I was watching what they were doing, and obviously joined Discord and started to learn more about NFTs. And then at some point I was just investing. I bought a lot of different NFTs. I was part of different communities, including Blockasset. And then the desire came of, you know what, I would like to work in that side of the business now, because it's so interesting. I think we are just in the the start of the possibilities of what that can bring, of the kind of utilities and experience we can provide to the fans. So basically, what Blockasset does is to create a platform to connect fans with athletes through the technology of Web3, NFTs, and tokens, right? So the idea is that by holding that NFT, and soon when Blockasset also launches the tokenization, that can be done through the token as well. But by acquiring and holding those digital assets, you have not only a possibility to store value that can grow over time, depending on the demand, if the fighter continues to win, demands on the market, etc. But also it can provide different experience. So for instance, and that can be anything. It can be Blockasset can raffle or provide one-on-one training for the fans that hold the NFT of a certain fighter, for instance. So there are real life experience that can be provided to those that are part of the community and hold those assets. So that is just, I'm giving you in a very summarized way what the technology can do, and that's the goal of Blockasset, to connect the fans with their favorite athletes through the platform, through the technology.
Nice. And again, it's education. I think a lot of people obviously know about NFTs and know about crypto, and I think this is the new age. This is the next level, really, to do that, and it's very interesting. And a lot of different fighters from all over the world are involved, as you mentioned. Darren Till, Khamzat Chimaev, you have MVP, Bisping, Jorge Merab. Just the list goes on. So in terms of your influence in talent, so what part do you play in that? Are you out looking for fighters to join and to collaborate with, or what's your aspect of it?
Yeah, so I mean, when I joined the Blockasset, already had a very strong roster. I believe, I'm not mistaken, at the moment we have over 40 athletes signed. But when I joined, the number was already high. So my role is, because obviously, I coming from Brave and from the MMA industry, I have the experience of dealing with managers and athletes. I've done that for many years. So it was just when I joined the company, actually, my role was not that. I was doing different things, mostly in the business development side. But it's just they found it more natural that I deal with the managers and the athletes, because I have that experience. And sometimes it's small things, like, you know, when the fighter is during the fight week and it's the night when he's cutting weight, I know that, okay, if we need a request for him, that now it's not the best time. We need to do it a little before or after he rehydrates, and so there are just some knowledge in the MMA scene and being on the ground with the fighters during fight week and overall negotiations, etc. That they assigned me this role of director to manage the talent. And then obviously, as part of the job, not only managing them, but also working on the acquisition of new talent as well.
Oh, brilliant. And obviously, you were talking about your expertise and your knowledge of fighting and how fights work and the mindset of fighters in terms of fight camps and whatnot. And obviously, you have your own management company as well, Thrive MMA. So I'm guessing that helps you be successful in what you're doing today. But how and when did you start Thrive, and what was that like? Or what is that like?
Yes, yeah, that's an interesting story. So I never imagined that I would have an athlete management company, actually. But what happened was, when I left Brave, I started working with Blockasset. So that was my entire focus. But then what I realized is that, so first of all, some athletes started contacting me. We created some strong relationships during the many years that I've been in the industry. And some athletes actually asked me, "Hey, would you like to manage me?" So I started to see that some athletes, they're not really well represented, and sometimes it's not because their manager, obviously, it's not because they are not good on what they do. Actually, I'm just starting. So the thing is, some managers, sometimes they have too many fighters, and obviously they need to give attention to their biggest ones that are, obviously they probably have more requirements in terms of media, sponsorship, and so many things they are dealing on behalf of those fighters. So I started just to realize that there are some great talent that are not being they are not given the right amount of attention, and they are not able to really explore their full potential. Because I think the work of a manager is very important. It's not only the person who's going to be presenting to the MMA promotion, but also to have to basically manage all the negotiation with MMA promotion, sponsors, etc., to so the fighter can only focus on fighting. That's the idea. That he doesn't need to worry. There is somebody actually interested in that cares about him, cares about his journey, about his career, and will review contracts. We'll make sure that he's protected. We'll make sure that everything is done outside the gym. Somebody who's taking care for him. So, and then I just realized that that's actually something that I would really enjoy doing, because when it comes to MMA, I start to ask myself, what do I like about the industry? And the answer is the fighters, right? I think it's all about the fighters. It's all about, they are the one stepping in the cage. They're the one, and I train jiu-jitsu, and I train boxing, Muay Thai, almost on a daily basis. It's so difficult what they do. It's like I started doing boxing 6 months ago, and I cannot get like a footwork drill with some combinations. I start to mess it up. Like, for them to do on the level like what they do, it's just so much training. They train their whole lives. So I started to realize what I love the most about the sport is to supporting these fighters do what they do, and to be on their corner cheering for them. So I said, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. I started with a couple of fighters that I have very close relationship with. The first athlete was actually Dean Garnett from Liverpool.
Okay. Yes, yeah.
Who is a very well-known coach. He's the coach of Muhammad Mokaev. So trained him since the beginning, since amateur times. So he's actually the Dean Garnett, when he gave him all the support. Yeah, you should do it, bro, and it'd be a pleasure to work with you. And he actually is the one who came up with the name Thrive MMA. So
okay, nice.
Yeah, I had different ideas, and then he said, I believe I said, I had a different name, and then he said, bro, I think Thrive is the word you're looking for. I said, yes, you're right. And then he said with that. But then it started, it started with Dean. Then, thankfully, I'm grateful that I built very good relationships with other MMA organizations as well, matchmakers from all various organizations, and things start to pick up. So now, I think I have 3 fighters signed with PFL. One got injured, so he had to pull out from the European tournament. But I have 2 fighters with Hexagon MMA from France. Nice. I have fighters in UAE Warriors, and I'm talking to all the other promotions as well. There are some negotiations taking place. So, yeah.
Wow. And it seemed like you're the man to do it. You have a lot of connections. Obviously, the fighters do seem to love you. And it was interesting because when I was at the PFL in Europe, when Jakub got his win, you were on FaceTime with him. And just after his win, while he's doing the interviews as well, and I saw the connection there between the manager, yourself, who obviously cares about the fighter, and Jakub, and he was so happy, and you were so pleased for him as well. And I think that empathy and the level of understanding of what the fighters go through is one that stands out to me.
Nice. And just a quick one, who is that on FaceTime?
This is my manager, Gustavo Firmino.
Hello. Nice. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. So this is
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it was a very, very exciting moment when I saw him winning. I don't even remember what time it was in Bali. I believe it was like 6 a.m. or 7, and obviously I would stay online to watch. He's a very special talent. I saw him fighting twice for Brave, and by following him on social media and seeing the way he carries himself as a professional athlete, and the focus that he gives to his career. When I started the conversations with PFL and I understood the type of talent they were looking for, it came to my mind. Yeah, I think Jakub would be great for PFL, and so happy that things worked out. I think it's the perfect tournament for him to develop step by step. With the way PFL is doing, I think it's great doing the regional tournament. You don't choose your opponent, but they try to match on the first round, very similar experience, and then you grow gradually up to the championship. And then if the fighter wins, then on the next year, they would go to the World League. So I think what PFL is doing is perfect. And yeah, I was just so happy for Jacob. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there. That was the plan. I would go to the fight, but I had to renew my visa here in Bali, and I gave my passport to the immigration office. And then there was a holidays just in the middle of that week that delayed everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, I was not able to be there. But yeah, the first thing I had to do after his amazing win, KO in 48 seconds, that was incredible. So I had to give him a call on FaceTime, and yeah, it was a funny moment. He was in the middle of the interview. Somebody else picked up the phone, and then I was screaming, "Let's go!" And I think you guys could hear that, right?
Yeah, you could. And yeah, he's a special talent. He's a monster. He's the gorilla. It fits his it fits his style, which is good. And as you said, you mentioned Dean Garnett before. Shout out to him. You have the likes of Tim Barnett that you signed, El Saidi, who just recently fought in PFL as well. Omar Dafari as well.
Yes, Omar Dafari, also from Egypt. Osama was signed with PFL. Unfortunately, the fight didn't go his way. He fought on the Challenger series.
Yeah.
He had an amazing start of the fight. He was dominating with wrestling, with grappling. At some point, he just, I don't know if it was an adrenaline dump, like he got a little bit tired, and then he got clipped in standing. But he's gonna come back strong. He's a very strong athlete. And yeah, I think he'll come back stronger from this. It was a big learning experience for him for sure.
Nice. No, that's good. That's good. And what's your thoughts on other athlete managers, like the likes of Tim Simpson? Obviously, he's doing big things, and he's got a lot of fighters now who are champions. Obviously the likes of Izzy, the likes of Kamaru and Leon Edwards. Sorry. What's your thoughts on him and his style and what he's doing?
Yeah, Tim Simpson is whenever I think about what is like somebody I look up to in terms of how he manages the fighters, how he deals with the MMA promotion. I was actually in Brave when I signed fighters that were managed by Tim Simpson, so I could see him how he deals with the MMA organization as well.
Yeah,
it's the like the most professional manager I have that I dealt with. Tim is is a gentleman. At the same time, he knows how to defend the rights of his athlete. Very, very knowledgeable in contracts and etc. And just the way he speaks to the media and the way he manages his athletes. And I like the bond he creates with his athletes as well. Obviously, going to the events with them, really becoming close friends with the fighters. And I think that's important. That's part of the journey of the manager and the athlete when in this career growth. So yeah, Team, heads off to him. He's amazing, and yeah, he's. I'm close to Team. He actually sometimes I talk to him. He gave me good tips. He gave me congrats one day that I booked some fighters with an event and I was with them. So we have a good relationship, and yeah, I respect so much the work he's doing now with his management company Chosen Advisory. Yeah, wish him all the best, and yeah, he's the kind of manager that I look up to.
Nice. It's good that there's peers in the industry that you can have that relationship with as well. And what would be your advice to fighters that maybe haven't got management or maybe have been taken advantage of by management? What would be your advice to those guys out there?
Right. I mean, it's an interesting question. I think the most important is don't rush into signing anything just because, especially if it's someone that you do not know is promising you things. So it's good to get to know the person, schedule a Zoom call, have maybe your coach to help you with the decision, see the track record of that manager, you know, to make sure that what he's promising is, you know, it's correct and etc. And yeah, I think that's a very important choice, like who is going to manage you. I think it's important that the manager has put in the time to manage your career, to talk to you, to understand where you are with training, and and decide the next steps. I think the manager is not only the person who is going to help you get signed by an MMA promotion, but also to make sure you get the right fight for your moment, your specific moment in your career. Because if the manager, for instance, if he's saying yes for every fight, you know, obviously the manager is getting his commission, but the manager should be thinking, is this the right fight for my fighter now? Because the fighter will always be willing to say yes, because he's a fighter. He has, you know, he's very confident, but and ultimately it's his decision. But the manager should be also thinking on what is on the best interest for on behalf of the fighter. So is that the right fight? We are not even ranked. Are we supposed to be fighting the number 2 ranked right now? No, I'm okay fighting the number 16 or 15, and you know, and especially if it's a young athlete, to give the proper time for development. So make sure that it's somebody who actually has the right intentions and really wants to go in the journey with you and understand what your requirements at the moment to carry on managing your career properly.
Nice. Definitely words of wisdom. And if there's any fighters that are watching this, please reach out to Gustavo. Definitely, you definitely know what you're talking about, and you have the fighters' interests at heart, which is good. And talking about sort of that aspect of matchmaking as well, making sure that it's the right fight for your fighter. You've been everywhere, and as you talked about when you were with the Brave, the Fighting Federation as well. I saw you at events in Brazil, in Bahrain, with ringside with Khabib and all these other athletes. When it came to matchmaking, is there a difference in matchmaking for a organization like that than matchmaking and for your fighters? Is there a difference there?
Right. Yeah, definitely it's different. When I'm looking, and I mean, it depends. Like when I am managing an athlete and we are talking to the promotion about his next step, sometimes obviously I'm looking at a matchup, what is going to provide back to the fighter. Let's say if he has a multi-fight deal and he's in an organization, if he wants to move up in the ladder and go to a title shot, he needs to be fighting, especially if he it's coming from a win streak and etc. He needs to be fighting somebody who is gonna, you know, help get him up in the rankings, right? So there is always a question of, you know, and when that's the case, there are benefits in taking that fight. Even if the fight is like sometimes 50-50, you say, hey, it's a tough fight. You know, like I'm very cold and neutral when I'm analyzing. Yeah, this is it's not an easy fight. I can see it 50-50, but sometimes you need to be willing to take these fights, right? So you can that's how you grow in your career, and that's how your fighter gets you know, gets interest from the organization, from the media, etc., because he's willing to take risks and take big fights. But then there are different moments in the career the fighter is, you know, is a prospect, is growing. Maybe it's coming from 1 or 2 losses. Hey, I need to be looking for a fight that stylistically makes sense. Not that it's easy, but you cannot put like the exact style who beat him 2 times before. You know what I mean? So there are different ways that you need to think. That's when you are like you're the manager. When I was working for the promotion for as a matchmaker, then it's different. I was not looking into actually build any fighter. I was looking into all the matchups as 50-50 as possible, stylistically good matchups, exciting matches, and and I think Brave always had very strong matchmaking. Obviously, the president of Brave, he's always involved as well. He was a fighter himself. He has so much knowledge in MMA, Mr. Mohammed Shahid. The new matchmaker who replaced me, Sam Brad, he's amazing. He understands fighting. He understands really well. So that's how I try to do the most, like make the fights as competitive as possible. I think the fans, that's how the fans like when they look at a matchup and say, I don't know who is going to win here. That's I have no idea how it's going to play out. So that's the kind of fight me as a fan, I like to watch.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think it's good to get your thoughts on the fight between Pereira and Adesanya. I saw you were at Soma Fight Club, and I think you were the only Brazilian there. What was your thoughts going into that fight? What did you think about it?
Oh man, yeah, that was I became a meme after that event. That's
do ba 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 do.
So, for anybody to understand what we are talking about, go to Soma Fight Club on Instagram. I think they pinned like the Brazilian guy. It's the first video. So basically, they filmed the reaction when Israel KO'd Alex, and I was the only Brazilian. I was the only person in the whole gym. It was packed and supporting Alex. And everyone else supporting Easy. A lot of New Zealanders live here in Bali, training there. So yeah, but going to that fight, I knew it would be. I totally forgot about the other 3 times they fought. I knew it would be tough. Easy is a very crafty striker. He's very good. Maybe technically, purely technically, somebody would say even that probably he's a bit better than Alex with his movement and how quick he is and etc. But Alex has that power and accuracy that when he lands, he just needs to land one. So, but I never thought it would be an easy fight, and I thought it could be a totally different fight than the other 3. I thought my impression was that Easy would use his wrestling more because he was very successful in the first MMA fight they had, obviously, when he chose to wrestle. And I actually posted an interesting meme, like Alex Pereira versus Easy Nurmagomedov. Like that would be the fight. That's how I thought it would play out.
Yeah.
And I think, I think Alex won the first round. I think he was winning the second round. He was landing those like hard leg kicks, calf kicks rather, and he got Easy to the cage, which is the same way he finished the first fight. But the difference was in the first fight, that was on the 5th round. Easy was way more hurt, like his legs and etc. This time Easy was still awakened. So I think Alex, obviously, what I'm saying, he's very obvious. He probably already watched and etc. And I'm not a specialist in striking at all. But I think what's apparent, what we can see is he thought Easy was hurt. He started to, to throw those combinations. And he basically left his guard down, like both hands down. throwing those hooks and body shots and etc. And the chin was up because he thought that he got aggressive. He thought Easy was hurt, and then Easy just loaded and then. So, and looks like that was the strategy. Easy thought, okay, that's what Alex does every time he chases me to the cage. That's exactly what he planned, just to defend some punches, let him, put his guard down, and then land that hook. So, yeah, it was impressive. I'm a big fan of Easy as well. So it was a great fight, and I cannot wait to see Alex Pereira now in light heavyweight. There are some big fights for him there, and the biggest storyline is imagining he fights against Jamal Hill for the title to get revenge for his coach that lost the title against Jamal Hill. Yeah, that didn't lose to him, but beat his coach, right? So that's going to be a fantastic story.
Exactly, and it's these storylines that get the fans. We love it. I'm here for it. I love it
for sure.
And
man, I cannot wait.
Indeed, and then just going on Soma Fight Club. So is that where you train at the moment in time in Bali?
Yes. So Soma Fight Club. It's an amazing gym. It's the gym is just the facilities are highest level. They have programs for people that just want to go and have a good workout. I myself, when I arrived in Bali, I was very overweight. I was almost 100 kilos, and I lost already 20 kilos, and I got in good shape just with the kind of workouts based on combat sports. So they have boxing, Muay Thai, but at the same time that they teach proper technique and drills, there is always the pad work and punching bag where it becomes more like a workout, really sweat it out and spend a lot of energy. So they have these workouts for just the regular person who wants to do a good a good conditioning, a cardio based on combat sport techniques. And they have the professional team as well. There are very good coaches. Mike, who is the head coach, and he's a phenomenal striking coach that he used to work for different gyms. He's from New Zealand. He used to work for different gyms here, like Bali MMA, but then he had this idea of a new structure to build a new gym in Bali, and he's the mastermind. Soma is just the energy at Soma. And I'm not saying this in a biased way. I don't make any money. Like, I don't work for Soma.
Yeah.
It's just that I've never felt such a good energy like that. So if somebody just wants to see how that feels, go on our stories, see like how the training, like busy, full room. The coaches put good music. It's just a good, fun energy. That I don't know how they created that energy and that environment, but everybody gets addicted. So I have friends that they came to Bali on vacations, like strong businessmen, and then they went for a workout at Soma. Their vacations of 1 month in Bali became going to Soma every day and spend the whole day there doing 3 trainings. They were supposed to come here to party, just because it's so addictive. So it's an amazing gym. There are many good coaches there. Shout out to Youssef as well, who was a former MMA fighter, fought for Brave. He was the coach of Mohamed Fakhreddin, who was a double champion in Brave. Now he's in PFL. So Youssef is from Lebanon, and he's the head MMA coach. And now the gym has the biggest focus now is to make Soma become like a hub for international fighters to do MMA training, to do their camp here, just like they go to Phuket. Soma, like in Bali, it's also an option for you. So the strength and conditioning program is crazy. There is a girl there, Angie. She is phenomenal. She goes to Phuket, to Bangtao, and to train with the top level strength and conditioning coaches in the world that train with the biggest UFC stars. And she brings all the knowledge. and the program she runs in at Soma is amazing. So the gym is growing, the professional team is growing. We have the first fighter in UFC, which is Anshu, I believe I pronounce his name. He's from India. He won the road to UFC. And it's just the mats are full of savage now. It's like, I don't even know how many, like 30 professional fighters. So yeah, whoever wants to, for professional athletes that want to have a good training camp in a different place, consider Bali. Obviously, it's a beautiful island, and Soma. Check it out on Instagram.
Nice. It definitely sounds like a good place for you to be right now as well. Next, I want to go into a new sort of skit that we have, quick fire questions. So I'm going to give you two options very quickly. First thing that comes up to your head. Ready for it?
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay. Firstly, Brazil or Bali?
Bali.
Okay, wow.
Sorry, my Brazilian friend.
BJJ or judo?
BJJ. Even though I would prefer to call it submission grappling or jiu-jitsu only. I personally, I don't like the B in BJJ. I think it's just like do we call it English football?
That's true.
We don't, right? And it's being developed now in obviously it was developed in Brazil, Europe, all over the world. We didn't change the name. So for me, the martial art is jiu-jitsu. Yes, it was developed in Brazil a lot by the Grace family, who put it on the map, and they created the UFC to show the effectiveness. But I don't think it's Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I think it's jiu-jitsu. And now it's being developed in US, obviously the Danaher, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, B-Team, Europe, there are so many grapplers. I mean, in New Zealand or Australia, you have Leklangios. You know, it's not, I don't think it's a Brazilian martial art. I think I prefer to call it Jiu-Jitsu.
Jiu-Jitsu. No, I like the take on it. I like it. Okay, so do you prefer managing fighters or matchmaking?
Managing fighters.
Right. Okay. For training early in the morning or training in the evening?
Early in the morning.
Okay. Who's got the better legacy, Khabib or GSP?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I would say GSP. Yeah, all the respect to Khabib, but obviously undefeated. He's amazing. GSP, I think I think people can relate more with that and even learn more. Like for somebody who failed and was able to come back and beat those opponents that he lost against before. He actually was able to get a win and get revenge from all the opponents he lost before. So it showed that he went there, he lost, he learned from the mistakes, and he came back on top. So I think that's just a perfect career. Somebody who was he went up in weight. He was willing to take risks. He fell sometimes, and he came back stronger and got those wins back. So yeah, GSP.
Nice. Okay, food now. Do you prefer? And apologies if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Do you prefer nasi goreng or bubur ayam?
I would say nasi.
Nasi.
Just nasi, like just rice, chicken, just simple.
Nice. Who will win in the fight in 2 weeks' time, Aljo or Henry?
Henry Cejudo.
Triple
C. Let's go.
I love it. And the last one.
Imagine if that guy wins. Oh my God, I cannot even imagine the post-fight interview is going to be too much fun.
It is. And then the last one, who produces the best fighters, Brazil or the US?
That's a tough question. That's a tough one. I would need to check actually in terms of quantity. who produced the best. I would need to. Man, I'm on the fence now on this one because Brazil has been doing well lately. I think if if I'm not mistaken, Brazil has more champions than US at the moment in UFC.
Yes, yeah, I believe
Right?
so. I believe so. Yeah.
I'm not even looking at the rankings, but I believe so. Even though Alex lost. So
Oh yeah, and Glover lost as well.
yeah, let's check it right now. UFC rankings. That would be interesting. So US has John Jones, Aljamain,
Yeah, Hill.
Jamal Hill.
It's not lightweight, not middleweight.
That's it. 3.
Yeah,
Right.
3.
So Brazil has Amanda Nunes. Only Amanda Nunes at the moment. Interesting.
Because she's twice. Because Davison lost. Oh yeah, Alex lost.
Yeah.
Glover. Okay.
Yeah, it changed like recently. So Davison lost. Alex lost. Glover. It's all like a very recent. Very recently. Brazil had most champions in UFC. I think this is what I think. I think like Brazil produce a lot of fighters, like just quantity. You go to Curitiba in the south of Brazil, São Paulo, there are so many MMA gyms. And so in terms of quantity of fighters, I think Brazil has more. US, I think, obviously, because of financial conditions and just training camp, support and etc. The fighters they can reach further, and that's the reason how many Brazilians are training in Florida at ATT, at Sanford, or doing camps in US. There are very good gyms in Brazil as well. Not saying this in a disrespectful way, but there are more financial support, sponsors, everything, more opportunities as well to fight in events that will give more opportunities for the growth of the athletes in US. So I would say that you asked a country that produces more the best fighters. I would say US. Doesn't mean the fighter needs to be American. It's just being in the US and training at these big gyms. I think you have more support to go, to reach further in your career. And obviously there are stories where you see Leon Edwards, you see the Chinese fighter. You see actually Mexico is killing it. Brandon Moreno. Who else? Brandon Moreno, Alexa Grasso. Yair Rodriguez, who I met here at Soma in Bali recently. He came here to finish his camp before his last fight. So obviously, there are these exceptions that Mexico is doing amazing, and sometimes it depends on the heart and willingness and the desire of each athlete that sometimes goes beyond any logic of training camp and everything can go against you, and you just once more than the other, than your opponent. Mexicans have that fight, that heart, right? But just as in general, to answer your question, I think US has the best infrastructure for fighters to develop. So that would be my short answer.
Brilliant. No, I love the insight and I love the analysis that you've done. Gus, I've appreciated your time. Really, I know that you're very busy. You've got a lot going on. Thank you for taking the time out to speak to us here at King's Court MMA. Before we finish, where do the fans, fighters, where do they find you? Plug what's going on in your life.
So they can find me on Instagram, Gustavo G Firmino on Instagram. Twitter, same thing. The page of my management company, thrivemma.co, and also make sure to check out the Blockasset Instagram and page, so many projects, so many things in the roadmap for Blockasset, tokenization of the athletes, and a new platform should be launched soon. We have our own native token block that is doing really well this year, and also all the projects for the fighters, including NFTs and tokenization that are going to be happening this year. So make sure to go to your Instagram and type Blockasset, and the webpage is blockasset.co.
Fantastic. I will put all the links and all the socials down in the description and down below as well. Gus, thank you for your time. All the best in your endeavors. And yeah, hope to speak again, sir.
Yes, brother. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you, and the great work that you're doing covering MMA. It was a pleasure chatting with you. Hope we can meet. Next time we do this, we do it in person.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
All right.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
See you.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times.
On the fence. I'm on the fence.
We don't need somebody.
Left hook from Yaoundé came and landed on him, so.